It was obvious to me from a little child that we were food insecure. I didn't know that that's what you called it, but I didn't have a lot of food when I was home during the week with my mom. We didn't get to eat fresh fruits and vegetables on a regular basis because they were too expensive. All my mom had in the cabinet was sugar, Karo syrup, and butter. She cooked that up together and made it to the point where it could pull like taffy. And that's what we had for dinner. Now we think we're having fun because we're kids and we having, pulling taffy for dinner, but that's because all we had to eat was that.
Food insecurity is when a household or a person doesn't have the financial resources to pay for food for their household. We know that if one or a household is food insecure, that there's more stress. And then, of course, mental stress, which can lead to anxiety, depression. Those folks that are food insecure have higher rates of mental illness. I think it's about 200% more.
I wanted my children to grow up and be healthy. I did not want them to grow up and be obese. I didn't want them to grow up and have diabetes or high blood pressure. How am I going to feed them, and how am I going to feed them in a healthy way that doesn't cause them to have health conditions? Food is a human right, and it's a basic need, right? And healthy food is a basic need.
Before we can teach folks about how to eat healthy, we have to make sure that they have access to food.
Food banks have been a blessing in that I was able to get fresh fruits and vegetables that I couldn't otherwise afford for free.
The Community Produce Program distributions is actually somewhat of set up as a farmer's market style. What we do is we actually bring the truck out to a certain location, mainly parking lots that are very accessible to us. We pull out these tables, and what product we have that day is what we load onto those tables. The drive-through, don't have to get out of your car. We load you up with protein boxes, dairy boxes, as well as the fresh fruits and vegetables, and also shelf-stabled items. So far, after 10 years, we've distributed 31 million pounds in that program, not including the weight of the boxes and the canned goods.
I can remember early in my career about sitting down with like a 40-year-old patient who was a pastor, and he's a dad of 4. It was just surprising to me that he actually, on his blood test, came back that he had diabetes, and it was a new diagnosis. And when I talked to him more about, well, what are you eating? Like, what's your life like? He was telling me, how stressed he was. He's a pastor, but he had, 2 other jobs. And he was really just eating like top ramen and like butter and bread with ketchup or something, like nothing nutritious. And he was giving his kids the more nutritious fruits and vegetables. So he didn't have anything for himself. And then that kind of was a wake-up call, realizing like, wow, I can't just talk to him about diabetes and what diabetes is unless I address like his needs for nutritious food.
Sydney was 7 years old. She was in 4th grade. And that day, I didn't have any money to give her to buy lunch, and I didn't have any food in the house. She was hungry during lunchtime, and so she went and she said, okay, well, I'll try to charge. So she got to the line, and they told her that she had already charged too, and they took the food away from her. At 7 years old, they took her food away. And so my baby was not only hungry, but she was shamed for not having the resources to buy lunch.
We did a study at Contra Costa Health System about 4 years ago that did show that the rates of food insecurity within our patient population, which we know are more vulnerable and are poorer, were about 40% higher than the rest of the county.
I remember at Vallejo Family Health Services, we had this one couple. She said like her blood pressure medication is not required as much because of the healthy product she's receiving from us.
I see the health benefits of having changed my diet. My blood pressure has normalized. I've lost weight. I have more energy because I'm eating in a healthier way. Food is a human right, and healthy food is a human right. It's not fair that only people with money should be able to have access to healthy foods. There are families now that are eating 1 meal a day, and that's not necessary when we are able to feed everybody. We know that when you're healthy physically and you're healthy mentally, then you're much more productive as an adult. You're much more productive as a human being.
I guess my ultimate dream and goal for Contra Costa, for our county, for our community, is for no one to experience food insecurity, for everyone to have the financial means to provide their household with food, but specifically nutritious food. So yes, that would be my dream.
When I was on welfare and when I didn't have a lot of money, I felt invisible. I felt like people didn't see me and people didn't care. I want to be that voice that screams out and says, no, we're here and we deserve just as much as anyone else. My children deserve to eat, and my children deserve to eat the best food just like everyone else. My children deserve a future like everyone else.